Well, hello everybody. Long time no see. Those of you who follow me regularly will notice there wasn't a single video uploaded last year. And it's really just, well, it's a multitude of things. First of all, the virus, that's the big thing. That put a stop to pretty much everything. And it's still going on, unfortunately. So we really didn't do a whole lot. We did take one trip down into Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., and then back to Michigan. And I didn't record anything. The reason for that is it's sort of hard to explain. Frankly, I had become somewhat disillusioned with recording videos. I noticed my viewership was dropping significantly. The videos from my last trip, some of them hadn't even broken 200 views, and they'd been up for months. And previous videos were getting 3,000-4,000. I'm not really sure why that happened, and I've said many times that I'm really not in this to be popular or to make money or anything like that. I'm not particularly interested in this channel becoming really big. However, there is still a certain level of viewership that is needed to get back what I put into it. I need the feedback and, talking to people and that sort of thing. That's what makes this whole thing worthwhile. And if I spend hours recording a video, constantly trying to find interesting things to record, and then more hours editing and everything like that to upload, it only gets a couple hundred views, if that. It's sort of like, why bother? And that's sort of where I got to. I was sort of feeling like maybe I should just give up recording. There's no point in doing it if nobody's watching. And that's still partially the case. I don't know if the viewership is going to go back up now that I've got my big news here to tell you today or not. But I do know that I will not be recording as much as I was. I will not be recording on every single trip we take. I'll really only stick to recording things that I think are interesting. And I will not be spending as much time editing intro, outro, fade-ins between scenes, music, this and that. It's just too much time. It takes too much time, and unless I start getting a whole lot more views, it's just not worth my time. That's not to say I don't appreciate those who are watching, but I hope you can understand that there is a certain give and take that I have to receive. That doesn't make any sense, but I think you know what I mean. I think you get my point here. So anyway, we will see how this year goes. Now that the vaccine is being distributed, maybe the virus will be a thing of the past fairly soon, and we can all get back to our normal lives, and hopefully I can find some interesting content. However, getting past that, we do have good news. We have big news. First and foremost, I have now gotten to a point in my life, financially speaking, that I can start taking time off every year to travel. Not just a couple of weeks, which is what I had before. 2-week vacation was all I had before. Now I intend to start taking every August, September, and October off, purely to travel, which means there should be a lot more recordable content, which means I might end up recording more videos than I think. However, that means the rest of the year there might not be a whole lot because I'll still be working. But during those 3 months, there could be quite a bit. Now, the second piece of big news is this. Huh? That's right, I have upgraded. My new RV is a 2002 Safari Trek. I had wanted to upgrade for a while, but I really wasn't sure what to upgrade to. I thought maybe a B plus or a Class C, but they all had things I didn't like about them until I stumbled across one of these. I had never really thought a Class A would work for me because they were all too big, until I found the Safari Trek, and I will show you inside what makes the Safari Trek so special. However, we'll start with the outside first. So it's a 26-footer, this particular one. I think they went as high as 28 feet, and then later on, even maybe a little bigger than that. But the main models during this era were 24, 26, and 28, which is pretty small for a Class A, which I liked. I didn't want a huge RV that was difficult to maneuver around. Now, my dad's Class C, the Princess that you all know of, is a 31-footer, so it's actually longer than this, which is very unusual. Class A's are normally quite large, quite long. And this one is not perfect, let's call it that. It's like I said, it's a 2002, so it's no spring chicken. It looks pretty good, but it's got a few issues. It's hard to tell on camera. I don't really know how well you can see it, but this side door is pot-marked with hail damage. Unfortunately, the thing was in a pretty bad hailstorm down south, and it took some damage. The sides of this thing are aluminum, not that fiberglass or that plastic stuff most RVs use. These are aluminum panels, which is good because it's high quality, but it also means that it was damaged. There are some small dents in the walls, and again, it's kind of hard to see on camera. You really can see it better up in person. However, the walls, I believe, are thicker gauge metal, and so the dents on the side are less obvious. The ones on the door are really obvious when you're up close to it. So I will have to deal with that. I'll have to do something. Most likely I'll dismantle the door and try to smooth the dents out. Additionally, this door is just leaves a little bit to be desired. It doesn't really hold tight and things like that, so that's going to need some work. We got a body panel missing down here. It's going to have to be some diamond plate put across here, because you can see there's supposed to be something here, but it's missing. So I'll replace that, make that look better. But what I like about it is nice big side windows. It's got 2 of these on each side, which I like. A lot of RVs, newer RVs, have really small windows, and that's been a problem with the Queen. You know, not enough windows, not enough airflow. This one's got a big one on both sides, plus it's got these side windows that have screens up front, so that creates quite a bit of airflow. It's also got a good size awning for its length, as you can see, which I also like. I really like sitting under awnings, and the bigger the better, in my opinion. So that's good. It's got pretty good sized truck tires. These are fairly new. I think they're less than a year old. They got about 20,000 miles on them. The previous owner bought this thing in May of last year. He and his wife took a sabbatical from their work and traveled. So they basically lived in this thing most of last year. And then when their sabbatical was over and they had to go back to work, they put her up for sale, and I was able to jump on it. Went all the way down to Memphis. My dad and I flew down there, and we spent 2 days driving back. So, let me adjust this camera real quick. Whoop, nope, too much. Come on. There we go. Okay. Again, we got like a scratch back here and that sort of thing. But for the age and what I paid, you can't expect perfection. It's not going to be perfect. It needs a little TLC. There's some things that I have to take care of. But quite frankly, I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. Oh, darn, I forgot to take his license plate off. So try to ignore that, folks. I should have taken that off before I recorded the video. I'll take that off today. Let's see, what else? We'll go around the front. I'll show you the front. So this model is actually called a slopey. The models before this and the model after this, the front was just completely flat. And this one you see sort of slopes downward. And this model has the 496, the 8.1 liter V8. The models prior to this had the old 1960s block 454. Not a bad engine, obviously. They used it for many, many years. But it was had a few problems, like the injectors were inside the intake manifold and things like that. It was kind of a pain. But the 496 is a much better engine, much more powerful, newer design. And this thing climbs hills like crazy. It doesn't even downshift on most of the hills, which is just great. LED headlights, upgraded by the previous owner. These are awesome. We drove at night part of the way home, and boy, can you see with these things. These are great. I like them a lot. I was worried they would blind people, but my dad stood out in front of it and said it looked okay. I also like the really big windshield. When you're sitting up in the driver's seat looking out, you can just see everything. As you can see, there goes my gimbal. Hang on, I'll be right back. Alright folks, sorry about that. My gimbal battery died despite being on the charger for 2 days. Apparently not recording for the whole last year kind of took a toll on my video equipment, and the batteries just aren't holding a charge. I'm hoping the GoPro battery holds out. I ordered a new one, but it hasn't arrived and I didn't want to wait, so hopefully it'll hold out long enough to record this video. Anyway, as I was saying, you can kind of see caulk in between the two panes of glass and across the top because there was a leak in the past. A couple owners ago, they sealed it up with that stuff. I may do it better, reseal that somehow with maybe some black caulk so it's not so obvious. Let's see, let's go around here. Not a whole lot to see on this side. It's pretty blank. Again, nice big windows. Lots of belly doors down here. You got your water heater here. Suburban, not Atwood, which is surprising. But, you know, a water heater's a water heater. And, you know, you got your exhaust there. You got your sewer hose holder there. This is your gas filler neck, which is, by the way, absolutely useless. It actually goes horizontal for about 1.5 feet before it goes down into the tank. And you have to stand there and hold the nozzle up like this the whole time you're filling up this gigantic tank. It sucks, so I gotta fix that. Not 100% sure how I'm gonna do it yet, but you all know me. I'll figure it out. Down here you got your valve, your dump valves down here. These need work as well. Previous owner stuck this thing in here, which creates a tight seal because the black water valve, well, that's loose, leaks. Which means this fills up with raw sewage between dumps, and you pull this thing off and sewage spills out on the ground. It is disgusting. And when I got back, there was still sewage in there. He told me he dumped, but I guess he didn't rinse it or anything because there was still raw sewage in there, and both valves were frozen. So I couldn't even get them open to winterize the thing. So I had to take it over to my our shop where I work, put it inside the building where it's heated for a couple of hours and let it thaw out. But once I did, everything worked fine. So I'll have to replace that valve because there's no sewage leaks. Absolutely not. Will not accept it. Most Safari Treks have a mural on the back. I was surprised to see this one doesn't. Apparently it was an optional thing. This is the only one I've ever seen that doesn't have it. So I might have like a decal or something printed up by the local sign company. Maybe some, if I can find a picture that I like, and stick it up there. You can see where it's supposed to belong. But anyway, got a tow hitch here, 2-inch receiver hitch with the full electrical plug. It's got trailer brake controls on the inside. I won't be doing any towing that I can think of. My dad and I are possibly talking about towing a car in the future on long trips, but that's not 100% yet. What I will likely do is get one of those carriers for my little moped. You know, you slide it in there and the moped sits on it. I'm a little concerned about how low it is. It might scrape the ground, so I might have to get one of those things that raises it up. So we will see how I handle that, what I do there. So anyway, I guess the next thing would be to open up all these belly doors and show you what's under there. Can't really do it with one hand because you gotta have a key, you know, 2 keys, and then you gotta flip it up and latch them in place. So I'm gonna put the camera down, open these all up, and then show you what's in there. All right, so let's start up front here. Obviously, propane tank. This thing is absolutely gigantic. Look at it compared to my hand. It is huge. I'll fill this thing up at the beginning of the season. It'll last me 2 years. But what's cool about it is it's got this little attachment here where you can hook up a propane grill. So I intend to get a portable propane grill and have it ready to use if we're ever boondocking in a place where we can't have a campfire, which happens a lot, like a Walmart parking lot or something. Oh, come on. Or a Harvest Host. Come on, thread on. What's the deal? Oh, for crying out loud. There. Oh, one other thing I should do. There we go. It's in storage. Should shut that off. All right, so yeah, huge propane tank. Still looks in pretty good shape, too. I'm kind of surprised they don't have some sort of a shield underneath it or anything. I mean, it's right by the tire. It's got that little rubber flap there, but it's not a lot of protection. I might consider putting some sort of a metal something underneath it just to protect it from road debris and stuff. But I don't know. It's lasted this long, so maybe it's not necessary. Next one, we've got a storage space. All this wood. The couple of owners ago, they took the couch out and replaced it with a custom-built, like a bench seat with storage underneath. I don't like it at all. But there was one on driver's side, one on the passenger side, and the previous owner pulled out the one on the passenger side, and these are the pieces of it. He gave them to me just in case I wanted it, but I don't like it at all. So I'm gonna cut this wood up and use it for firewood probably. But anyway, kind of hard to see, but it's a pass-through, so it goes all the way to the other side. Since it's a rear-wheel drive, you got that big box in the middle for the drive shaft and stuff, so it's not as much room as you'd have with a diesel pusher. but still a lot more than I had in the Queen. So that's a storage space down there. Back here you have one of the two freshwater tanks, 35-gallon tanks, two of them, so 70 gallons of fresh water. And then you got black water tank on the other side of that framework. And then obviously you got some storage space here. I'll probably use this space for, you know, he's got this sewer hose in here. I don't like that kind of sewer hose. I'm going to get rid of that. But this would be a good spot for water hoses and, you know, utility type storage. Things that, you know, if this area gets dirty, it's not going to dirty up all my personal items. Going around. Black water tank. I believe it's a 40-gallon tank. Although it doesn't look like 40 gallons, but that's what I'm told. So yeah, 40-gallon black water, 40-gallon gray water tank. Gray water tank is over there in the middle. It's kind of a bad place for it. I'm hoping it's not too terrible to get to if I ever need to get to it. Hopefully I never have to, but anyway, gray water tank is in the middle. Here's your other freshwater tank here. So you got one on each side, gives you some balance, which is good. Then you got all your various control valves. Wow, it's really windy. Hope the mic is holding up. Anyway, this is your drain for your water tanks. This is your drain for the water pump. These are your low points. Supposedly you can drain all your water lines right here. I'm not particularly impressed with it. I tried it, didn't seem to work that well. But what the manual says is to connect an air hose to this port here, and you can use these valves to shut everything off and turn them on one at a time and blow all the lines out. That's what I did. That seemed to work pretty well. But because this is the only way to fill the water tanks, there is no possible way to get antifreeze into the water lines. So the only way to winterize is to blow out the water, which is fine. I've got an air compressor and I've got an adapter that screws into there, so it's pretty easy, and you don't get that chemically taste of antifreeze for the first few times you fill up. Not that I drink the water from these tanks anyway. Moving along, here we've got the electrical cable. It's a 50 amp cord, really thick cord. As you can see, I've got it into a surge protector, then a 30 amp adapter, into a 15 amp adapter, into this cord that runs into the garage. Obviously you do not run very much power off of a thin gauge cord here. I just needed something to keep the batteries charged. But over here it's a connected compartment. See, it's one big compartment, and that's the pass through to the other side. You see the wood. This is quite a bit of storage actually. I can better organize it by getting this stuff and putting it in the back compartment that I showed you. You know, I just don't need all that much storage, and you'll see there's a lot of storage inside as well. So if I could get by with the African Queen all these years, I can certainly get by with this. And up front here we have the generator. Typical Onan Microquiet 4000. It's the generator you see in pretty much every medium size RV. And you got your engine battery right there, which is dead for some reason. Couldn't get the thing to start this morning. I don't know why it went dead, but it's got a button on the dashboard with a little picture of a battery. You're supposed to be able to push that button, and it's supposed to use the coach batteries to start the engine, but it didn't work, so I don't know why. So I'll have to look into that. Let's see. These, I believe, could be wrong, but I believe these compartments are insulated, because you see this is just a regular thing, but this has, I think there's foam in here, because there is a little vent that goes down into the compartment where the water tanks are. So when you're running the heat, it blows a small amount of heat into that compartment to help keep your pipes from freezing. Doesn't do you much good since your dump valves are outside exposed. So I don't really know what the point of that is, but it's not like I'll be using this thing in the winter anyway, so what difference does it make? Anywho, what do you folks say we go inside now, huh? Alright, I haven't cleaned it, so it's a little dirty, so bear with me on that. But watch this. This is something that I've always wanted since I was a little kid. It's a stupid thing to want, but I've always wanted it. I remember when I was a little kid looking at these big fancy RVs, every time people would open the door, oh yeah. I'm just so amused by that. I know it's stupid, but I really like it. Anyway, here we go. Under this step, we've got our house batteries. I believe these are two 6-volt batteries, and they're looking a little worse for wear. I see some corrosion and stuff on there, so gonna clean these up, maybe replace them if they're having trouble holding a charge, but they seemed okay on the drive up here. So we'll see what's going on with this. I don't know why all this blue corrosion is going on. I have to figure out what's up with that. Anyway, the originally had carpet up front, but somebody replaced the flooring with this nice vinyl throughout. So that's kind of nice. That's that bench seat I told you about. Originally there was a couch there, and then here's where the other bench was. You see the cushions are still here. I'll save the cushions for something, but I'm probably going to rip out this thing and put in a real couch, because while the storage underneath is nice, my comfort is more important to me, and these just aren't comfortable enough for me. So anyway, you got this nice big living space up here with the big windows on both sides like I told you. And up here is the driver compartment. These seats leave a little bit to be desired. They're pretty comfortable. I can live with them for a while, but the arms are kind of coming apart. Sort of hard to see. Like, the pad has come loose from the frame and it's pushed a hole here. And it's the same thing over here. See, they've taped over it, but it's just completely loose. And you put your hand on it, you see that's the frame right there pushing through the fabric right there. So, and this one's completely fallen off. You can put it back on, but as soon as you spin it up, it falls right off again. And they're pretty worn out. They're showing their age. Like I said, this thing is no spring chicken, so I can live with these for a couple years, but eventually I'll do something with them. Either have them recovered, or I'll replace them, or something. Maybe if I find myself in an RV salvage yard somewhere, I can find some decent replacements. Pretty typical. This is the workhorse chassis. It's one thing I forgot to mention. This is not a Chevy or just a Ford chassis. This is a General Motors workhorse chassis specifically designed for trucks. So that's kind of nice. But you got all these buttons over here, fancy. These are to flicker your clearance lights to signal people. These are the lights for the panel. Cargo lights for underneath. This is that button I told you about that's supposed to start the engine, but it didn't work. This is your backup camera. Here's the camera monitor right there. I'll turn that on, and it takes a few minutes to warm up, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on camera, to be honest with you. Here it comes. There we go. Well, maybe you can see it. It's tilted up a little too much. I'm seeing way too much sky. I don't really need to see that far behind me. I'm going to tilt it down, hopefully, so that I can see like my scooter or the rear bumper area. So when I'm backing up, I can actually see things before I hit them. So that's one thing I got to do. But anyway, we just flip that back off. That's your generator start. There's also a generator start button in the back. This is like an auxiliary fan. There's some vents up here, like there and there. Supposedly it's a defroster or something, but it doesn't. There's no heat up there. It's just a fan. So I don't really know what that would be used for. Mirror heat, which is nice. Heated mirrors in case they fog over or something. And this controls the radio, so you can have the radio on when you're... oh, yeah, it is working. So even when the ignition's off, you can turn the radio on. So that's kind of nice. It's got this XM satellite thing, but I don't use XM, so I'll pull that off. And I just use the auxiliary cable to listen to stuff on my phone. Let's see, under here you got a couple of power outlets. Up here is the TV. It's on this sort of swing down bracket here. This originally had a big box and had one of those old tube TVs in it. A couple owners ago, they dismantled this box and rebuilt it to this smaller compartment with this swing down bracket here. I'm thinking I might want to move it over into this corner somehow, because when you're sitting on the couch, this is much easier to watch than cranking your neck all the way over here. A minor issue, but one that I think I'll address. Up here you got the power source for the TV. You see this is all custom built in here. And you got over here you got another compartment here with another power outlet, and this is your antenna booster. I'll never use the antenna, but I'm thinking I can use that for 12 volt power source, because this TV is just a 110. I want to put my 12 volt TV up here. And over here you got another compartment. I don't know what's in here, why this is boxed in. I'm curious about that. You got some lights up here. Oh, the switch is in the back, but speakers, antenna control, which again I won't use. Throughout a few places you got these little reading lights, which are kind of nice. Moving to the back, we've got the kitchen. Nice countertop with the molded in sink. It's all one piece. You got this little flip up counter extender here. You got I think that's a soap dispenser right there. Cabinets, lots of cabinets. These are not particle board, by the way. This is not veneer. This is solid wood. This is one of the things about Safari. Safari was known to be a higher quality than most RVs. Unfortunately, later it was purchased by Monaco. The company was purchased by Monaco in 2002, and later on, models started to go down in quality, unfortunately. But this one still has the good quality. So over here you got microwave. It is a convection microwave. You can see the temperature settings on here. I haven't learned how to use it, but I will. And the reason it's a convection microwave is because there is no oven. It's just a cooktop, 3-burner, and you got lots of drawers. See, you got all these drawers. You got another drawer here. You got more cabinets. Kind of hard to tell on camera, but these doors need to be refinished. That's one of the things I didn't realize until I actually got there. We did a video tour through FaceTime because he was down in Texas at the time, and he took me through the thing. And you know, things like this are sometimes hard to see on camera. So when I got there, I saw this, but you know, sand them down, put a new layer of varnish on, they'll look good. Over here, you got just a standard countertop. I think somebody might have been using this as a butcher block because it's really scratched up. But I'll refinish that as well. You got this cork board here for some reason. More storage up here with some accessories that the previous owner gave me. More cabinetry down here. See, lots and lots of storage. Nice big fridge, actually bigger than my dad's RV. Taller. So you just sort of pop that open and there you go. Two-way, obviously, gas and electric, which I like. I do not like residential refrigerators in RVs. I know that's very popular in larger RVs these days, but I really like the propane option. Moving into the bathroom, this thing has a gigantic bathroom. Absolutely gigantic. You got a stand-up shower here with a nice big skylight up above it, which I really like. This actually got cracked during that hailstorm. Part of the deal we made when I bought it was the previous owner replaced the skylight because I didn't want a cracked skylight, obviously. Toilet has been upgraded from the original to a more modern Dometic sort of whatever. I don't know the brand or anything, but you know, typical RV toilet, nothing spectacular about it, but better than that recirculating one I had. You all might remember that, what I went through with the Queen to get a real flush toilet. Storage cubby back there with some nasty old stained fabric. I'll have to make that look better maybe. Nice place to store toilet chemicals. Cabinets down here. You got a sink obviously, and you got all these cabinets with these huge wardrobes. Hello. Huge wardrobes that are all connected. And back here you got a basically a big hole. And I'm thinking this is a perfect place to put a laundry basket, like a hamper. Because that's always been a problem for me. Where the heck do I put my dirty clothes? So that's going to probably be where I put them. And I'm thinking maybe someday in the future, not this year or probably not even next year, but in the future, one of those washer-dryer combo units right there, that would be nice. In fact, there's a vent stack right there that I could tap into and use as a drain. I would just have to run power over here, which wouldn't be too hard because there's a power outlet right there. So anyway, that's a possibility for the future. You got towel hooks there, more cabinets here. I think that's an access panel for the backup camera if you ever need it. Lights are all LED upgraded. These were originally fluorescent, but they've been upgraded to LED, so that's kind of nice. Pretty nasty looking fan. I may replace this because it's cracked right here, so the screen doesn't do a whole lot when you got a big hole right there. So I may replace this. But, you know, you got the nice vent fan anyway. So there's one thing you folks might be noticing, particularly those who are not familiar with this model of RV. Where's the bed? You got couches and a bathroom. Where's the bed? I will show you. So coming back forward, we find ourselves back in the living room, and if we look above, well, what do you know about that? This is called an electromagic bed, and it runs on these tracks right here. You got 4 of them. You see the gear right there. So all you do is come over here. You got a button up here. Not too shabby, huh? This is the reason I chose the Safari Trek. Because you have all this living space in a shorter RV, because you don't have all the space taken up by a bed like you do in most RVs. My dad's RV is so much longer because he's got a big bedroom in the back. I don't. I have a big bathroom. So this bed just comes down. It comes down to about counter height. These things were originally on hinges, and they would just hinge up. You see the hinge right there, and they snap into place here, basically to create a headboard and footboard. However, they were removed from the hinges so that on warm days when you want the windows open, you just take them off, put them underneath, and you can open up these windows and have cross ventilation. But on nights when you're using the air conditioning or whatever, you just flip these up, they block the light, and they keep you from hitting your head on the window and possibly breaking the screen. The mattress is upgraded to a nice thick memory foam mattress. It's a little thicker than the original one, so the bed actually doesn't go up quite as far as it would otherwise, but it's plenty for me. Fortunately, I'm pretty short. So, in fact, my friend Mike, whom you all know, he's quite a bit taller than I am, and he can stand up just fine in here, so I got no problem with that. But this is very comfortable. I've laid down on it. Lied down on it? Whatever. I've been on it, and it's comfortable, and I look forward to nights in here and relaxing, because the Queen was okay, but the bed was never very comfortable, and I never slept particularly well. I slept okay, but never got a really, really, really good night's sleep. So anyway, so that's it, folks. This is the thing that I love the most about this RV. That when I'm not using the bed, I press a button, it goes up into the ceiling and disappears, and everything else is living space. You got all this living space because a bed isn't taking up all the space. So we're just going to send this back up. Do 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 do. There we go. And it's up. And as you can see, I got plenty of headroom. Plenty of headroom. I mean, I'm not going to be playing basketball in here, but, you know, this is more than enough. And during the day, I got all this space to live. So that's pretty much it, folks. Oh, one other thing I forgot to show you. This is the internal inverter. We're plugged in right now, so I won't turn it on. But when you're not plugged in, you flip this switch on, and this outlet has power, and I think a couple others. I don't know which ones specifically. I haven't figured it out, but you have AC power when you're not plugged in. But this has to be on to use the bed. So you flip this on, then you hit that button, you bring the bed down, and you flip this back off. Because the bed runs on 110 volt power. So that's just a little thing you got to have. But it's kind of nice when you're traveling. If you need to plug something in real quick and you're not plugged in, you don't have to start your generator. Up here I forgot to show you this. Water heater controls, tank monitors. As is pretty typical, the holding tank monitors don't work all that well. It'll show you it's full when it's really only half full and that sort of thing. But then you got your water pump, and then you got your generator start with 361 hours on the generator, so that's got plenty of life left in it. And again, you got another light here. So yeah, that's really all there is to show you. I looked for a long time for one of these. I spent all last year watching all the various sites, Facebook, Craigslist, RV Trader, everything. And I actually found a website called Trek Tracks with an X. And that's basically a message forum. Trek owners and people who are looking to buy Treks are on there, and you can share information. There's an endless font of information on there available to anybody who needs it. And I actually found this RV for sale on that website, and I'm very happy with it. Like I've said many times already in this video, it's not perfect. It needs a little TLC. There are a few things that it's going to need, but quite frankly, I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm looking forward to doing the little repairs, the little improvements, the little modifications, making it fit me, making it my own. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Come on, spring. So that's all for today, folks. I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. I will document my repairs and my modifications and stuff, just like I did with the Queen. Oh, speaking of the Queen, really quickly before my battery dies, you can see I do still have the Queen. I haven't gotten rid of her, but I will. I am going to sell the Queen. It was a difficult decision to sell the Queen after, 4 years, going on 5 years, all that work I did. But I got a lot of good use out of her, and I'm just ready to upgrade. Now that I'm going to be traveling a lot more, I want more space. So I'm going to hang on to the Queen until spring, at which point I will, get her cleaned up, and I will do a for sale tour of the Queen. In the meantime, if any of you are interested in purchasing the Queen, send me a message. You can get a head start on everybody else. I want all my fans to get a jump on buying the African Queen. If any of you want reminders, you can go back into my videos and see all the work that's been done. The Queen is also far from perfect, but she is solid. You can jump in and take her anywhere you want. So if any of you want her, if one of you are interested in buying her, send me a message. So until then, I will see you folks next time.